Friends and patriots, welcome and good evening to you. My name is Ajuri Ngelale, and I come to you from the nation's capital. This is Eagle Eye. On this edition of the program, we conclude our investigative trilogy on the nation's water development sector out in the field as we join the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, on the site of critical projects across multiple zones in the country. Given the extensive on-site content within this edition, we will present our briefing memoranda on subsequent editions of the program. Without further ado, let's head to the nation's northeastern state of Taraba. The people of Takum local government area in Taraba State do not contain their excitement in preparation to host public officials responsible for life-changing infrastructure in their domain. It is said that water is life, and on this day the Minister of Water Resources is welcomed as one who delivers on a most critical need. Kashimbila Dam contains a dam height of 35 meters, a dam width of 150 meters, and a dam length of 1,585 meters. It holds a reservoir capacity of 500 million cubic meters of water. This comes with a water treatment plant which treats 60,000 cubic meters of water per day. Honorable Minister, we're here at Kashimbila Dam. Of course, this has been a project that has been on for some time. Now we can see what looks like a finished product. Can you just inform Nigerians on what the impact of this project will ultimately have on the nation's economy and on the nation at large?
Well, first of all, the dam was actually impounded in 2017. And it has basically four components: the dam itself, the water treatment plant, 60,000 cubic meters, water treatment plant, a 40 megawatts hydropower plant, and the plant for 2,000 hectares of irrigation. So far, we've finished the 40 megawatts power plant, and it's already injecting power into the national grid, so that's a plus. But the main purpose of the dam has been to do some alleviation against flooding. It's one of the dams that was identified by a United Nations agency program or study, which showed that there is a need to build a series of dams on the tributaries to the River Benue to help control flood that we always see downstream of the River Niger. And you know, Benue is one of the major tributaries of the River Niger. So this dam is also on a river that is a tributary to River Benue, and therefore it's like a check. So we expect to have some minimal impact towards flood control, but essentially we also took maximum advantage by providing this 40 megawatts power plant and also providing water supply to Takum. It's a major town in Taraba State. Also, you can see there's a provision of power now to some communities around this area, and then additional 40 megawatts are injected into the national grid.
Fantastic. Of course, we know that agricultural development and food security are two major policy objectives of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. How would this project in particular feed into enhancing our ability to, have, really a stabilized level of food production in the country?
Well, it's all building blocks. This valley has the potential of more than 15,000 hectares for irrigation, and there is abundant amount of water. So what we're looking at as a government, we're just trying to start with 2,000 hectares of irrigation, and when we go up there, you'll see that the reservoir is so huge. There is a huge potential for aquaculture as well. The development of our fisheries economy, and subsequently, I think the communities, and by and large, in fact, what we're looking for is big time agricultural companies that we can concession the entire irrigation aspect to.
Fantastic.
And as you know, there is even a landing strip as part of the components of this project, and it's good enough to evacuate agri-produce. So it's all in tune with what this administration has been advocating related to food security.
The Minister is joined by the Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar Aliyu, and the Minister of State for Power as they tour the power plant's state-of-the-art technology. Aside the new transmission station, world-class turbine shafts and hydropower generation sets create new momentum for a nation in search of reliable power. The need for synergy is not lost on the interministerial team here today.
Power needs water, and also sometimes water needs power. You can't run your pump to pump water without the energy. And a lot of times you need the energy to be able to drive the electricity to drive the pump. So, I mean, it's common sense. And as far as these projects are concerned, when it comes to hydropower, the Ministry of Water Resources and the Ministry of Power have a lot of synergy that is required. And our presence here is, like you said, is a major indication that we are working together. We're working on so many other projects in Geru, Dadinkowa. We did some work together to concessioning of Gurara. The Ministry of Water Resources, for instance, was responsible for building this dam, building the hydropower plant, but the evacuation aspect of it was handled by the Ministry of Power. And when this dam was actually finished in 2017, it's multi-purpose. It has the main purpose was to check against flooding, but we also show the importance of to give it some value addition in terms of providing a hydropower plant which is 40 megawatts. We also we're providing water for the surrounding communities. There is also provision for fisheries, in addition to the main purpose of flood control. And therefore, we decided that even though we had finished the dam, the main reason why the dam was built, the purpose had been achieved, but because we have this component for power, we felt that it was not right for us to commission the project at that time. We waited for the Ministry of Power to complete the transmission line, which has been completed, and now we are poised to commission at a time that is very convenient to us. So the synergy is there, and we'll continue to do, and we're demonstrating it here today.
Seeing us here together, inter-ministry and intra-ministry, is showing that we are working together to achieve result. And the result is what you see here, because we cannot allow rancor or working in silos to affect the main objective that we were made ministers to oversee the execution of the mandate that of the President Muhammadu Buhari. So coming here signifies that fact.
More than 400,000 local residents will benefit from the dedicated water treatment facility located in the Kashimbila multi-purpose dam, a place where the minister notes that states are central to enhancing access to potable water. Honorable Minister, we know that under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, it is not just about the availability of water quantitatively, but qualitatively. Can you give us some bit of an idea as to why this facility behind us is so important in this multi-purpose dam and hydroelectric power project?
Well, under the water resources policy that was approved by the Federal Executive Council in September 2016, under this administration, water supply takes priority over every other demand for water. So, for instance, we have a dam. Although the main purpose of the dam is flood control, but if we're to do value addition, the first priority would be to provide water to the people. And that's why this project is very essential. 60,000 cubic meters per day to Takum, which is the nearest urban settlement, and also to be distributed to some of the communities around here. So the premium of the policy of the federal government, or the national policy, is that drinking water, potable water, should be given the first priority. And bear in mind that we've subscribed to we subscribed to the Millennium Development Goals, and then we subscribed to the Sustainable Development Goals as well. Under the Millennium Development Goals, the country didn't do well. The target was 75% access. MDGs ended in 2015, and we only achieved 68%. And even at that, the statistics show that 50% of the rural communities didn't have access. So we had to introduce a new policy to address that. First of all, we started with the Partnership for Expanded Water, Sanitation, Hygiene Program, PWASH, which is addressed at rural communities. The idea is that the federal government will partner with state governments, the willing state government, and will be able to commit up to 50% of the total resources that the states require for those rural water schemes. We followed with a WASH action plan because we did a diagnostic report in 2017 with the support of the World Bank, which showed that as of 1992, 30% of Nigeria's population was enjoying pipe-borne water. But as of 2015, it had dropped to 7%.
Wow.
So it became an emergency situation for us, and therefore we went back to the drawing board and came up with the National WASH Action Plan, Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Action Plan, which the President launched on 8th November 2018 and declared a state of emergency on the water, sanitation and hygiene sector. And since then, all our efforts have been geared towards ensuring that we meet the Sustainable Development Goals target of providing 100 access to water supply to all citizens by the year 2030. But it is also instructive to note that the provision of water supply, the responsibility for that rests squarely on the shoulders of the state government. Whatever the federal government is doing is support, is just providing support and intervention. Something like this. The federal government does not have a water board, and therefore when this project is finished, we're going to hand it over to Taraba state government to run, because they are the ones constitutionally with the mandate to do that. So our efforts are geared towards providing some capital contribution. Sometimes we do the projects 100%, sometimes we work with the state governments, we partner, and under the new policy, federal government contribution is now going to be about 30% going forward. But for all the projects that we inherited, we're maintaining our commitment to finish them as we're doing with this particular project. But going forward, because we'd like to see the states really taking their responsibility seriously for provision of water, and therefore we expect them to do much more than what they are doing now. We're facing quite a number of challenges because sometimes even the projects that we finish, that we do, the project that the federal government has done 100%, finance 100%. Once we hand them over to the states, after a couple of years, you find them in a very sorry state because the states are not maintaining them. Even the basic operation and maintenance investment, they are not ready to do that. But like I said, we're working hard to see that things change. As you're probably aware, we recently acquired $700 million facility from the World Bank. 7 states are going to benefit from that facility because $350 million is going to urban water schemes. $350 million is going to other components like sanitation and hygiene and rural water supply. And the beauty about this program now is because of some of these problems that we'll be facing, the World Bank and the Federal Ministry of Water Resources have introduced what we call performance for result. And therefore, going forward, federal government will not give the money, World Bank will not give the money, will allow the states to do what they need to do, invest their own money and do it. Then we verify, and after verification, then we pay them for the investment that they have made. Because we think that is just the way forward. We need to get states to invest more in urban water supply. Of course, other aspects of sanitation, water goes to sanitation, so also Sustainable Development Goals 6.1 and 6.2, they go together. So other components like open defecation, Free Nigeria campaign also going on, hand washing, campaign for hand washing and other hygiene practices. We're also promoting it at federal level, but it's important for the states to key in and make sure that they do their own bit. If they don't do it, the people, the populations are in the states. They are not. Abuja is only about 6 million people out of 200 million people. That's the only federal territory. The rest of the people are administered under various states, under the 36 states. So we need the states to do more. And we hope that we are seeing a lot of progress. We're seeing some strong political will with some state governments, but we need to have, an overwhelming
unanimity.
support. Yeah, absolutely.
Tiga Dam in Kano holds the potential for up to 15,000 hectares of irrigation capacity for hundreds of thousands of local farmers in one of the nation's most strategic food production belts. Overseeing its rehabilitation and modernization, the minister says, even as new dam infrastructure is built nationwide, the old ones cannot be left moribund, but must be upgraded.
Honorable Minister, we're presently located at the largest earth dam in the nation. Why did the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari prioritize coming back to this particular project for works? And of what benefit ultimately is it to the larger economic development objectives of the administration for the country?
Well, let me take you a little back to history. This dam, Tiga Dam, was built by the Kano State, the old Kano State government in the early 70s. I dare say by direct labor. It was done by the Ministry of Works and Housing in those days. It's the largest earth dam in the country. It now has a storage capacity of 1.6 billion cubic meters of water, taking most of the water from the Jos Plateau. It was harvested primarily to provide water to Kano Municipal, and then also the leaders of those days had the foresight and saw the need that it was also there's a lot of water enough to do irrigation, and that gave birth to the Kano River Irrigation Scheme, which we've been traversing in the last few hours. And I can tell you that probably the most economically empowered people in Kano State live in this area, because this way we have the largest production of vegetables, tomatoes, and when we go around, you see some industry like Dangote, they're already creating, they're setting up tomato processing factories and other factories. Rice mills have lots of rice, lot of wheat in this place. It has really boosted the economy of the country, and therefore this is a scheme that cannot be ignored. So under the Trimin irrigation program, rehabilitation of irrigation systems, this was a very good candidate for rehabilitation. When we came into office, about 1/3 of the irrigation farmland, due to deterioration of the infrastructure, was not working. So people were only doing rain-fed farming. Only about 2/3 of the irrigation scheme was being used for irrigation during the dry season. And that's why we're working now to rehabilitate the 5,000 hectares that was lost, and then to add additional 3,000 hectares.
Fantastic.
So by the time the scheme is finished, we'll have probably 14 to 15,000 hectares of irrigation here.
Excellent.
Probably second largest only to Bakolori, which is in Zamfara State, which is also undergoing similar kind of rehabilitation. So it's this is a one scheme that can be an impetus or a kind of an impetus towards our effort at improving food security in the country. The present administration's desire to move the country towards diversifying from oil and depending less on oil, and taking agriculture as the alternative. This is it. And when you come to Kadao, everybody knows the scheme. The vegetable, the tomatoes we get in Lagos, in Accra, Ghana, and many other places. During the season like this, you see lots of trucks coming to move in to buy vegetables and other produce and take them out to the southern parts and other parts of the West African sub-region. So we had to do a lot of other things like, this dam is like 50 years old or more than that. And there was a desirability to do some rehabilitation works, which we've been able to do, protecting the embankment and also, of the side slopes. And, we've provided some drains. We've asphalted the crest, the driveway, done a lot of other works on the main canal that takes water out to the irrigation area, and of course some additional instrumentation, and some safety features that will monitor the dam to ensure that the integrity, the safety and the integrity of the dam are maintained. And that project we're able to accomplish. We started in 2019. We just finished a couple of months ago, and we've did it under budget.
Fantastic. Full-scale modernization.
Absolutely.
From 2015 to date, President Muhammadu Buhari has invested massively in dam construction across every geopolitical zone of the Federation in an effort to democratize food production nationwide and enhance national food security en route to eventual mass export. Despite dwindling revenues amid 2 economic recessions and a once-in-a-century global pandemic, 12 dams have been fully completed. President Muhammadu Buhari's effort to forestall incidences of flood while diversifying the nation's energy mix is an ongoing priority, with an additional 11 new dams at an advanced stage of completion, with at least 5 more coming on stream before May 2023. This runs against the reality that 1970s and 1980s era dams were left to deteriorate into non-usage, while less than 4 large dam projects were completed within the preceding 15 years, despite consistently high revenues. Slow but steady, both water supply and water quality are verifiably on a gradual increase.
The loss is like 10%, about something like that, which is about 5.
State governments are taking notice. Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi joins the minister on a tour of a crucial new dam project in Ogbese, Ekiti State. He assesses work and shares his thoughts.
Visual park and all that. You can put it once the dam is ready.
Honorable Minister, sir, in the presence of His Excellency the Governor of Ekiti State, we're here at Ogbese Dam. Can you just give Nigerians a bit of insight into what the import of this project is and what you make of what you've seen here today in terms of your own assessment?
Well, the main purpose of building dams all over the country, basically to harness water that can be used all year round. And the dams have a purpose. It's maybe water supply, irrigation, hydropower. This particular dam has the potential to combine the three. Also, tourism is another use, as well as aquaculture, and I think all that is possible once this project is finished. So it's quite significant. We're talking about 700 million cubic meters of water to be stored by this reservoir when it is finished. So quite significant. Work is going on, but this project has taken a very long time. It's one of the projects we inherited and we've been trying very hard to complete. When we came into office in 2015, this project was prioritized among the projects to be completed. And we've made some investments, been able to secure all the turbines for the 3-4 megawatt hydropower station that is going to be incorporated into the dam. But still, the civil works are quite slow in my view. And we're doing everything we can to ensure that we increase the funding so that the contractor can be able to finish. We actually penciled this project for completion this year. Unfortunately, it's among the projects that was affected by the COVID crisis, and that has affected our funding. But we're looking for alternative arrangements to get some additional funds to see if we can get this project ready before the exit of this administration in 2023.
Your Excellency, you've long talked about the intervention of President Muhammadu Buhari across sectors in Ekiti State. Can you also just give us a sense of what you've seen in terms of projects, several contracts that may have been awarded up to 20 years ago sometimes, that this president has said, look, we have to finish this for the benefit of Ekiti people and Nigerians in general?
Well, thank you very much, Ajuri. Well, for us, the evidence is clear that we have a president who is very passionate about project completion rather than abandonment. And these are projects that have been picked up. This project was originally awarded, I believe, in 2009. We're now in 2022, and it was literally abandoned from about 2010 to 2015 when the Buhari administration came on board. And since then, the Honourable Minister of Water Resources has been largely seized of the project. I'm aware because I go to him all the time about this project. I go to Mr. President about it because of the multipurpose nature of the dam. This is the food basket of our state. And the whole of the Ogbese is a More axis. This is a cocoa belt too, a Kere axis. So this dam is bound to be of immense benefit to the people of the state, particularly to our people in the southern senatorial district when completed, not just in terms of water supply to the villages and communities around here, but also in terms of the irrigation potential for all season farming. And in addition, of course, the hydropower that comes with it.
Share your thoughts and constructive comments with us on the Eagle Eye Facebook and Instagram page. Next week on the program, we join the Honorable Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, on the site of the much-awaited Second Niger Bridge project. You do not want to miss it. As always, I have enjoyed this time with you, and I thank you for your viewership. I look forward to hosting you once again next week at this same time on this network. Until next time, may God Almighty go with you, and as eagles, may we all soar and lift our nation high as we do.